obviously wandering around in the crowd. It looks sort of cloudy and all the other things, but it's going to be hot, and just to remember to cover up, hats, all of the good sort of sunscreen and everything else, and drink lots of liquid, preferably water, not beer, but I'll leave that to the adults amongst us. But just don't forget, there are other things we've got to be considering other than the fabulous air displays that we're going to be watching. That's looking after ourselves. First two aircraft are rolling now. They're the Strikemasters. So Ian will be telling you all about those later. And the two aircraft that will be rolling behind, they're the Hunters. So mixed formation is brilliant. We watched it yesterday during rehearsal. It's lovely. I've been joined by Ian Thompson.
Get the cameras ready.
Picture now.
Because this is our first public showing, it's quite challenging to actually fly these two different aircraft. As Mike would know, you've got different speeds, different power settings. The aircraft at the back, the one in the raspberry ripple colour, if I call it that, the Hunter, flown by Gerald Williams, has got over 10,000 pounds of thrust. The Hunter at the front, just under 7,500 pounds. So Squadron Leader Chris Heames could have set all the power settings just right to enable the aircraft to fly together. That beautiful topside pass, Chris positioning the aircraft now running in from your left for a very graceful wing over. And what we've designed this whole show around is to show these classic British jets in a very graceful series of manoeuvres. And I'll talk a bit more about what it's like to actually fly them in a moment. Just look at that shape. That looks very, very special indeed. You're seeing something pretty special here, because this is the world's only private jet team. Not only is it the world's only private jet team, it's the world's only team that are flying these two aircraft together, and the first time ever in public today. So the Strikemaster is designed as a ground attack aircraft, and you'll see that being put to good use in a moment. And the Hunter was both ground attack and fighter. And you'll see the difference in speed in a moment as Chris Heames, Squadron Leader Chris Heames, lead the team around for our swan break. And this is a good photo opportunity. He'll be powering up now 300 knots and starting to accelerate. And I'll let you listen to him as he pulls.
1 and 2, break, go! Reception, break, go!
In the brakes. These guys are absolutely pulling with all their might now to maneuver the aircraft around. There's nothing else other than manpower involved. Final pass of our carousel.
Always find as a pilot that watching.
just see Gerald's air brake out. All the pilots in the team are RAF pilots with the exception of one. So number one, squadron leader Chris Heaps. Number two, Joel Williams. He's the only private pilot, but just to give you an idea of his experience, he's got over 1,000 jet hours. Number three, squadron leader Dan Arlett. He's a Tornado pilot. In fact, his private transport is sitting on the static line somewhere behind us, which he'll be heading home in tomorrow. And number four is Mark Southern, who also flew Tornadoes for the Air Force. The Hunters are going to fly a carousel now, pulling quite hard, over 4 Gs. Now for the Hunter guys, they've got nice G-suits protecting them, whereas for the Strikemasters, there's absolutely no G-suits at all. There's always a debate over who's going to fly the Strikemaster and the Hunter. The big boys always go in the Hunter. You can always spot Gerald, he's the one who eats immediately after the display. He says there are over 1,000 calories he loses each time. In Operation Certain Disaster. Hopefully not today. Just beautifully rolling around the jet wash. I can tell you when you're actually sitting in the cockpit and that thing comes around you, it's a lot closer than it looks.
No, ciao, mate.
And as Piper 2 puts coming into land, you'll notice he'll pop the chute from the deceleration. There it goes. Saves an awful lot of wear on the brakes, even though this is a very nice long runway. And with 3 of his teammates ahead of him, he really doesn't want to catch them up that quickly. Well, thank you very much, Mike.